Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are here, and it is Wednesday night, and that makes it all right. You are here for the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday night extravaganza. You may have remembered it from days gone by as being the Sunday night extravaganza, your Sunday night addiction, various and sundry other terms, but it has always been the Painting with Menoth John show. I am, of course, Menoth John, or formerly known as Menoth John, or the guy, that old gray guy that's growing a beard, whatever his name is, welcoming all of you out there in Radio Land to tonight's extravaganza. You know that guy right there. He is the co-host with the most. He is Mr. John Spencer.
Hey-o.
Hey, I think we've got audio. I think we've got video. I think that we have achieved all states of playback type, recording, and podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special treat for you tonight in that this is episode 181. That is a palindrome, John. Were you aware that a palindrome is a word that is spelled the same forwards and backwards?
I was.
That's right. Of course you were, because you are the co-host with the most. And I'll tell you what, right now, folks, we are going to be, if you take tonight's episode and you watch it from the beginning to the end, it will be exactly the same as if you started it from the end and went back to the beginning. It'll be absolutely the same. I can guarantee
100%.
it. Guarantee it. So
101%, because that's also a palindrome.
Whoa! Mind blown. I'll tell you what. There you go, folks. You know, we use the spaces and the times in much the same way that Stephen Hawking or perhaps even Albert Einstein has. You know, painting is like science, John. It is. There's science involved in the pigments. There's science involved in the brush strokes. There are days that I just I'm amazed at us, John.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then we watch the review, and I'm wearing underwear on my head, which is even more amazing than not. You know, folks, tonight we're going to be painting some stuff. I continue to be in the awful rut that I've been in for weeks. I've got, you know, I got this gator. He hasn't changed much. I can show some more stuff on the little tabaxi that I've been working on for Belinda. It's coming along. Marzipalami is coming along. I got to put a little bit of love on her tonight. I have to take the brush and present the model with love from the brush and see what we can come up with on here. A little bit of highlighting. Got to make it pop a little bit more. It is a Siamese tabby, which, you know, it's like a gray with a darker gray, and it's like, how do I make this thing pop? So we're gonna spend a little time ruminating on that. We're going to we got this jackass Helios still sitting here on the table,
And the correct name again.
I know, right? Mocking me in much the same way that things that have mocked me in the past have mocked me. I'm going to work on some jewel technique. Just because I've got jewels to do on it. Literally, this model is nothing but a freaking collection of jewels. You might say we're going to run the jewels tonight. You know, that's
Oh,
see what I did there?
See what you did there.
I'll be killer.
Later, I might hear what you did there.
Killer John. That's me.
Killer John.
And we're gonna work on that. I don't know. We've got Keanu Reeves which we'll work on him a little bit. This is Vlad too, dressed up like a protectorate model. We might work on him. These are all options, John, that we have when we come on to the Painting with Menoth Johns. Crimson, are we talking about John's jewels? Yes, we are talking about my jewels. And if you'll see up there in the corner, you are going to see John, we're going to switch very quickly over to the media section camera, because what that does is that puts more of the focus on you. There you go, folks.
Show off my thing.
That's a thing. John, your thing is on camera right now. How do you feel about that?
Pretty fine, actually. I'm very proud of my thing.
Well, you should be. That's a beautiful thing you got there. Most things aren't that large.
No,
but
heavy. He's really heavy.
Well, the girth of the thing is something. Now, is your thing made out of metal, or is
my
it?
My thing is made out of metal.
Well, that's, you're gonna be playing that, and it's gonna be given a lot of pleasure. I have to believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. We made it a whole 4 minutes into the show before somebody showed their thing on camera. So,
hey, standards must be maintained.
Absolutely. Speaking of standards, back in the day, John, were you aware that one of the first things we would do in the Painting with Menoth John show was to have a beverage update?
I was aware. I was there.
I know you were. So it's very exciting that we have beverages on this show, because if there's one thing that goes with painting fine miniatures that have lots and lots of detail on them and that require a high level of dexterity to really make them pop, it's to lubricate it up with some booze. So
You're right.
Folks, I'm going to lead off, John, tonight. I'm going to be having a local beer here. This is probably not available anywhere for anybody. Sorry. Come to John Con. This is Raspis. It is a raspberry Berliner Weiss. And this is what it looks like when you get it out of the can. It looks a little bit like grapefruit juice, but what it is it's a raspberry sour. And it is frickin' delicious. And the local brewery, Rustic Road, which is, pardon my belch, I apologize. Rustic Road Brewing is going to be on the 2020 brewery tour, which we have confirmed the 12-passenger van. So we could have 12 people on the Sunday event, and we will be chauffeured from brewery to brewery to brewery. Rustic Road is a beautiful location, and then Public Brewing is got they're getting a new tap room that will include be able to show off their brewing equipment a little bit better. And then we're going to go to our Noggin, which is out by the interstate. Lots of fantastic beers. We're not going to go to Racine Brewing Company again this year for lots of reasons, but they had nice tables and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're going to probably stick to the Kenosha breweries this time. But super fun. That'll be July 10th, 11th, and 12th, coming up to a theater near you. We just took receipt of the new replacements for the air mattresses. We now will have cots that each have a capacity of over 600 pounds. So they will, for some of our more stately guests, they will be no problemo with the cots. So
luckily, I am not over 600 pounds.
None of my friends are over 600 pounds. So I purchased them with the thought in mind that we wouldn't have to worry about such things. And
fair enough,
the cats can't deflate a cot. So much as they will try. So yeah, the June 10th, 11th, and 12th. Planning's already underway, folks. We have RPG on Friday, and probably on Saturday or Sunday night we're going to have another one. We are going to try to do a combo Keyforge and War Machine main event. So we're going to have a little bit of both so that we can get more people's money and give that to the poor. To a cat, a cot is just a challenge or a new bed to claim ownership of. This cannot be denied, Nevendar. So the cats were claiming ownership of everything as it stood. So, but it's gonna be very exciting. It's gonna be very, very exciting. Looking forward to it. and it'll be summertime, so it won't suck. We'll be able to be outside. We'll have the hammock out on the new cement patio. We'll have the fire pit out there. It's gonna be super amazing.
Sounds great.
So what are you drinking, John? I've been talking all this time. I apologize.
That's all right. I have a small cup of orange juice mixed with some 43 liqueur, which tastes just like orange sickle. So
Well, there you go. That's a tumbler right there. Well, on behalf of Mr. John Spencer and myself, hey, Ron.
Ron.
Yep. Hey, welcoming Archon's Corner. Archon's Corner, if you're not aware, is a top-notch A-list, double A, triple A, if you will, podcast about and videocast for Keyforge. And
Oh, cool.
The Wookiee runs the Archon's Corner, and Wookiee's a super amazing guy, and he will be hopefully be at JohnCon. We're gonna try and get the whole group that's the locals to come down, plus other people that'll be flying in for JohnCon. We should have a pretty good turnout. So really excited about it, and really excited about being able to have people outside. So, well, shit, John. What else we got what other business we got? How's life been?
Life has been life. It's been kind of busy work-wise. We're slowly getting into my mostly slower period, but we're not quite there yet.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we'll charge forward.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, still beats that old job all hallow, so it's all good.
For those of you who are wondering where the hell Painting with Menoth John has been for weeks and weeks and weeks, I contracted pneumonia. And so it turns out pneumonia is no damn joke. So I'll keep this kind of short, although we have time to kill. Turns out that my son Jacob was feeling a little punkish, and he had developed a cough that was so bad that he ended up getting bloodshot eyes, and I thought he had pink eye. So I rushed him off to the urgent care, and it's like, nah, he doesn't have pink eye. They gave him pink eye medicine anyway, because this is a tale about today's medical profession. And they gave him some antibiotics. They gave him some amoxicillin. So, cool. Fine. So, 2 days later, I'm in the urgent care because I'm feeling like crap. And they stick a thing up my nose and tell me I don't have flu. And then they said, well, you don't have the flu, so we don't know what you have. But here is some codeine cough syrup, and take some ibuprofen and some Tylenol, and you'll get better, we think. Okay. Well, as it turns out, they actually said during there, well, we could give you a chest X-ray, but we just don't think you need one. This is where the malpractice started.
Yeah.
Come to 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, I've got stabbing, and I mean stabbing headaches on this side of my head, right at my temple, every 8 seconds. It would subside, and another one would get driven right in. I don't know what people who have migraines go through, but if this is anything like what they go through, then I have nothing but sympathy for folks that suffer from migraines. Dear God, have mercy. How do you stay sane? I was ready to chop my head off. Get into the so I text Belinda, and because I didn't want to wake her up, and I said I think I need to go to the emergency room, and so she rushed over and took me to the emergency room. Somehow I had gotten severely dehydrated in the process. And what I was feeling was basically the liner of my brains being so dehydrated, it was like pushing on my skull. And then on top of it, they finally did a chest X-ray, and I did not need a coffee enema. They shoved a bag. They finally did the X-ray, and they go, well, you don't have the flu, but you got a heck of a pneumonia going on. And I said, oh, that seems bad. And so they immediately hit me up with some antibiotics and the IV drip that I now had in my arm. They shot a bag of fluids in me, and hooked me up with some antibiotics and hooked me up with some pain meds. And for the first time in 4 days, I could rest. And I came in at the early part of it, and I couldn't stop shaking. I was uncontrollably shaking. And by the time I left there, I was in much better shape. 3 days later, I was a new man. And I made it through. And I'm just very thankful that from a cardio standpoint, my lungs were in pretty good shape before getting this. And boy, I went to a different doctor for a follow-up, and he looked at the X-ray that was on his records and go, "Wow, you had a real pneumonia there." And I was like, "You know what? You're the first person that's told me just how bad it was. Thank you for actually being honest with me." And so yeah, it was no joke. That's why Painting with Men Off John took a few weeks off. It's because literally there was a point there about 2 weeks ago. I couldn't talk for more than 5 minutes at a time without losing my breath. I had just lost that much lung function. But now I'm back to an hour on the treadmill like it's my job, and it's I'm in a much. I also managed to lose another 8 pounds out of the deal, which I managed to keep off, and now I'm at my target weight. I'm finally down at 157, 156, and that's just exactly where I want to sit. And if I were to lose any more, I'd start looking anorexic. So we're just gonna keep it right here, and I'm happy with it. Belinda's happy with it. Belinda's happy with it. I'm happy with it. So that's where we've been. That's my pneumonia story.
And the life lesson is, if they say, we don't think you need the chest x-ray, you tell them to take the chest x-ray just in case.
Well, I wanted to go back to the urgent care and say, so here's the deal. Not going to yell at you. Not going to sue you. But this is one to grow on. And
yeah.
And just next time, order the test. I mean, pneumonia's got a 20%, believe it or not, a 20% mortality rate. It's for real. It's like it's like coronavirus. Hold my beer.
Fair. But though also it does end up getting a lot of elderly and older people, so that tends to make it a little more.
Yep.
Remember, there's 3 types of lies, John: lies, damn lies, and statistics.
That's right. That is absolutely correct, sir. All right, I'm gonna probably whip out my painting brush. And
yeah. Well, I mean, I whipped up my thing, so you should get your brush out.
Yeah, I'll just give it the tip. Let's see here. So, I had to replace the sponge on my my wet palette because, hey, black mold, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Pro tip, kids, you might want to keep an eye on your wet palette because they will mold. Don't let it sit forever, and especially I'm not the hobby streak monster that you are, and I need to kind of get back into that mode. All right, so here is Marzipalami, and I think what I want to do with it is I want to come back and maybe do some highlighting on some of these leathers, just to kind of make them pop a little bit better. There's a jewel here on her chest. It's a little hard to see, especially with the camera the way it is. But there's like a little jewel here that I could probably do something with. And I'm not going to spend a lifetime on it, but I wanted it to be nice for Belle. And I don't know, it's a little hard to see, but the eyes turned out pretty badass on it. They're blue with a black vertical line on it, and it's what a cat eye looks like. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty happy with it. Anyhow.
Yeah. Just maybe bringing up those leathers and all up a little bit. I'll probably make that pop, because you can't do too much with the cat markings and all without making them cartoony.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I did with the tail, and I think that's about as much as I want to do with it. It's I mean,
it looks great.
It's got like a little furry effect to it because the way I kind of made it a little bit random on there, and then a little bit more solid down here on the end. I see I made a little bit of a mistake and slopped a little bit of the stone color onto the tail, so I'll have to correct that. That's not Not that hard. I can fix that. And yeah, I got to take a look here at my mixing chart to see what is a good highlight color for the leathers. Let's see here. Rucksack
Mixing
tan,
chart.
you
Holy
say?
crap, that's high tech. You see, folks, that's next level. I just fucking wing it.
Rucksack tan, it says. My experience with the PP mixing chart for the P3 paints, and I do use the P3 paints more often than not, is that at least for me at my level, I like to blend the base color in with the. I'm gonna turn on another light here to get a little more light going here. Mix the base color that you started off with, which was in this case, I think it was Battlefield Brown, was what I used for that fur, and I'm just gonna mix it a little bit here. I can't really here. Let me do this so people can see how I mix on a wet palette. Because I've never really done that before, John. I've never really shown kind of working on the wet palette. So what I'm going to do here is, and some of these paint pots, oh fuck, that's perfect. Get that shit out of here. There we go. Some of these paint pots.
Top break off, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that as soon as you said rucksack tan, 'cause I'm like, the top of my rucksack tan is broken off.
Yeah, I gotta be careful because more of these are broken off than not. And then we're gonna put that back away, and then we'll take the rucksack tan here, and that one's not completely broken off. And we're just gonna put a little bit over here on the side. Okay, there we go. I feel like Bob Ross all of a sudden. It's like, and on today's show, you're gonna need crimson, alizarin crimson, and titanium white, and.
So Crimson 1919 says hashtag CID paint pots.
Yeah, no shit. Honest to fucking Christ, if there's one thing that Privateer has done right in all of their existence, it's their paint line.
Except for the pots.
Yeah, man, if they were in dropper bottles, I couldn't even.
Yeah, they would be.
They'd
be super legit.
They'd be OP as shit. All right, so on her tail, it's on the bottom part here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the Battlefield Brown straight off the pot there, and I'm just going to, and that's it. And then I'm going to just kind of just blend it out here a little bit so it doesn't look like quite so stark. And there you go.
It's funny, actually. I paint in a sort of different manner than you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'll do a lot of the base first, because I find it easier to just be careful right around those handful of parts on the model that reach the base than to not slop the base all over their fucking feet and tail and shit.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, what ended up happening was that the order I do things, like you said, this is probably not normal. I'm a self-taught painter for the most part, except for the part where Seth taught me how to be good at painting. I paint from the inside out, and I paint on the base, and I usually paint the base last, which is the wrong thing to do, folks. Most people paint the base first and then work their way up. I always slop all over the fucking place, so it's hard for me to paint the base first. All right, so
yeah, I always just do the base and the dry brushing on the base, maybe a little bit of washing on the base. Not quite to a point where I couldn't clean it up if I had to, because that's the key. You want to make sure if you slop it one way or the other, you can clean up what your slop is. So some models you might do differently.
Okay, so I just put a little bit of water and a little bit of the Battlefield Brown. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to highlight that up with a fair to middling amount of the rucksack tan. And you can see how we're getting, it's brought up the color quite a bit. I need a little bit more water in there. It's a little, there we go. It's maybe a little thin, but we're going to add a little bit more of the tan to it. There we go. All right, so I'm going to squeeze that out. And then I'm going to see what I can do about just, I got the wrong brush in my hand. I'm going to need a little something smaller. Let's see here. I've got a 4-0. I'm not sure what kind of shape this brush is in, to be honest with you. We'll see.
Well,
it's a little.
As long as it'll hold a point long enough to do what you need.
Yeah, this brush has seen better days.
Most of mine, I realize most of mine are reaching that tipping point where they're not doing it anymore. So even though I'm trying to be a little frugal in my painting or my hobby supplies, I might have to just break down and get some more.
Well, you know what? Yours are probably deteriorating from use. Mine need to get a dip in the brush restorer, I think, and I probably can get some more use out of them. Okay, so
I got a couple there. I got a couple I keep around just because they're still mostly functional. But
yep.
I also use cheap ass brushes, so I use the Army Painter brushes. They're not bad, but don't anyone ever think they're great. They are fairly good cost effective wise. If you're a better painter and you take care of your brush better, those more expensive brushes are probably going to be more cost effective. I do have one, which one do I have here? Winsor Newton brush that I keep for special occasions and stuff I can't fuck up.
Yep, I hear you. I tend to use right now. My workhorses are Raphael. The hell series are these? I think 8404s. And boy, I like them. They're pretty good. I've had trouble with finding Winsor Newton Series 7s. I'm not sure if they're. I haven't purchased brushes in forever.
Those are, since they're not generally at the hobby store, I tend to look on Amazon for those because I mean.
Yep, I'm a fan
Amazon's
of
got everything.
I'm a fan of the Dick Blick. Dick Blick has pretty good deals, and they have really good selection, and it's not Amazon.
Fair.
Jeff owns
I get enough
enough.
my money as it is, but still.
No, I hear you. I try to avoid them, but it's like trying to avoid air.
Yeah.
So I'm not real happy with what's going on here. Trying to do some highlights here on some edging. If I screw around with it long enough, I'll either completely screw it up, or to look good.
Hey, happy accidents.
Yeah, exactly. We're accidenting happily here.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of painting myself here.
Cool, man.
Nothing amazing. I just have a giant model that needs some more primer on it.
So have you seen all? Have you notice how much palindrome is happening already in this episode? Almost none.
Yeah, well, I mean, what were they expecting?
They shouldn't expect anything from this show.
Truth in advertising?
No.
This show? Come on.
No. We're lucky we advertise at all. We used to advertise for people.
Yeah.
Aiming.
That's still a classic.
Yep. He's still up here on my monitor, too. All right. Well, that's probably okay. That's super happy.
Well, let it dry. See, maybe something else will take in. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I just need to. John, my eyes.
You're preaching to the choir there, dog.
They're not what they used to be.
I was looking at some of the cards for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I just hand them to Marshall. I'm like, what the hell is that symbol on there? I can't read that. It's to the point where I have saved in my Amazon wish list, just to go back to the Amazon for a second, one of those magnifier things where you just put it down over a sheet of paper or something so you can fucking read it.
Yeah, welcome to being fucking old with Men Off John tonight.
Yeah, and my eyes aren't exactly great to
no, I hear
begin with. You guys hadn't noticed. So
yeah,
I probably need bifocals because old age.
Bifocals aren't the end of the world.
No.
I've had them for a while now. All right, so there you go. I'm gonna move the wet palette over a little bit because I gotta put some straight from the can here. Where's my super silvery shit? That's cold steel. I want Quicksilver, I think. That's Quicksilver right here. Quicksilver works really good if you're going to use the gemstone paints that come from Citadel. and I am going to do that on this model.
Yeah, that's one of those places where Citadel really, one of the two places they really take the cake is their technical paints, and of course their washes.
Yeah.
I do like the regular paints also, but I still mix them with, with every other company. We're sitting right here. I've got some Army Painter, I got some GW, I got some P3, I got some Vallejo, I got some other brand of Vallejo, I got some Turbo Dork, I got some Scale Color. I got a little bit of everything hanging out here. No Reaper, but apparently Reaper is really good if you just want that straight progression in bottles. Like, I want this to this to this to this. Apparently they do that like no one else.
Cool.
So
I don't have hardly any experience at all with Reaper.
yeah, I only know because Kathy knows and Kathy shares.
Kathy's awesome.
Yes. So while I love the way the thing is turning out, I'm not sure if I'm happy or upset with the guy who suggested I paint the base like a big, black and white checkerboard. Because while it looks pretty cool, it is absolutely horrific to paint.
Yeah, I bet you it's tedious as fuck.
Yeah, because you're just going back and like, I got to touch up this little bit, touch up this little bit.
Yeah. That way
And
there'd be
since it's
madness.
white and black, there's no leeway with it.
Yep, I hear you. All right, well, while I got this paint out, let me go ahead and I've got a few items on Helios here. See, I'm getting the name right more often than not these days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been podcasts since you've gotten that name wrong.
No, right? These days, that's months and years.
Well, not quite years.
Months for sure, though. Just gonna put a little.
Sometimes, yeah, it just happens.
Sometimes you get pneumonia. But we'll be back next week,
Sometimes
folks.
life happens. You can't let as much as you want to keep doing your hobbies. Sometimes you've got to adult things, and you can't. You just gotta be an adult, do the adult things, and then just take advantage of the time when you get it.
Yep, and taking care of yourself is job one.
Absolutely, because if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be there for the next time. You might get a chance to do the fun stuff.
That is a true statement of fact. All right, so I'm just dabbing a little bit of this Quicksilver on some of the places where I'm going to put some of the jewel paint on old Helios here.
Poopity poop. Oh well, I'll clean it up. Eventually, I'm sure these will get less and less. I'll stop getting stuff in the wrong place, and then it'll clean up quick, and then we'll get them done.
That's right.
I hope to have them done before too long. I don't want to be spending forever on him, but because he is still a stand-in technically for the Hulk, and I own the Hulk. I just like the thing better. Sorry to all you Hulk fans. I am a Ben Grimm fan.
I like the thing. Ben Grimm is cool.
Absolutely. And I still kept the model because it was a cool model. I mean, I never read this. I got him because he was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy crew for the old Night Models game for the little bit of time it was out, even though apparently they weren't allowed to. Yeah, the mouse caught on and it was like, oh, hell no. What are you doing? But I didn't even read the Guardians of the Galaxy while Ben Grimm was there, but it's cool. I'm actually hoping they do a rules thing like they did with the Winter Soldier for Ben Grimm when he finally comes out. Is they have a rule for Winter Soldier. It's called for him. It's called Rogue Agent, where he counts as a member of whatever team you want.
Okay.
Because you get team abilities, you've got the leader, and then the majority of your crew is one team.
Okay.
So if you've got Black Panther and 2 other Wakandans and 5 models, then that's at least 3 models Wakandan. That's a majority. You get the Wakandan ability that he has on his card.
Okay.
And so Winter Soldier makes it really easy to put a couple different teams in your overall models you bring. You should only bring 10 models.
Mm-hmm.
So that means like you can have Winter Soldier's like, I got Winter Soldier, and now I can have, heck, technically you could have all 4 of the current factions represented, because you could have 2 Asgardians and 2 Wakandans and 2 Avengers and 2 the Cabal, the bad guys, and then Winter Soldier. And heck, you're only at 9 models. You got 1 more to spare.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, I don't think I would quite do that, but you can do that. Oh. John, you know what the Helios is reminding me of a little bit?
What's that?
A Zentradi power armor, the female variety from Robotech.
Oh, cool. I never was a big Robotech guy. I never got into it. That's not to say that. Oh, by the way, there was a box at Goodwill, the thrift store of Robotech RPG.
Oh, the RPG Tactics one? Yeah,
Yep.
that was a hashtag Kickstarter shit show.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Crimson. You know what's going to happen eventually, John. Crimson wants to know, are you all in on the upcoming Kickstarter for War Machine 40K?
All right, well, there we go, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be the... What time is it?
It's actually 8:39, 7:39 your time.
Yeah, so that would be the 40-minute mark. For those of you who had the 40-minute mark for when the show would go horribly negative, you're a winner. So I think the Tau look like they've got a real chance in War Machine.
Oh, God.
I
don't know. I looked at the models, and the first thing I thought was, those are fine models. Like, no disrespect to the models as far as quality-wise. But they just look too derivative. It's like, hey, here's some 40K mashed together with some Infinity with a little bit of that War Machine model style, if you will, from that point. Oh, damn, Leech just showed up.
Hey!
With a negative portion. So I'm like, sure, they're fine, but it looks like someone just said, I want a little bit of Infinity, a little bit of 40K, mash it together with my War Machine, take out some bits, and here we go.
Yeah, So, I mean, it's no surprise that it's not for me. I mean, that's
not the worst part, and I hate to throw shade this heavy at somebody, but from our point of view, if you take a company that fucked up a game launch, and that's a fact, it's not even an opinion at this point, and took what was probably one of the best miniature games and has turned it into not one of the best miniature games, and you're going to Kickstarter it?
They don't have the working capital to start it, is what it boils down to.
Well, I know that, but I'm thinking purely from us as a gamer standpoint. We don't know how good this game's going to be. We don't know if the rulebook's going to have what we want as gamers in order to play the game. I mean, they're going to have to really, really just push. They're going to be anyone who makes gameplay videos for anything. They got to get them some models or get them to get together with them. And they're going to have to do demo. They're going to be working their butt on the demos. They have to.
Gotta do something, man, because, I mean, even though it's a skirmish level game, well, what'd they say? It was like 30 models would be maximum?
Something like that. I didn't actually read the blurb because I saw the model, so it seems fine. And saw Kickstarter, was like, I'm a hard out. Not even like soft, like hard out.
Yeah.
So DM Leach said that here's Infinity Smash into Rhett. Yep. And he said he's despised companies using Kickstarters as pre-orders. Absolutely. And someone on, I'm going to say it, Ed Burrell on Facebook on someone else's post stated, and that's a little interesting person to have shade coming from him, that he thought it would have been fine if they had done that and they were making all the models hard plastic. If they were changing the material, like, we're going to go hard plastic and we're a Kickstarter to afford all this. Be like, absolutely, that sounds great. That is a great thing using Kickstarter for. You are expanding your business. We know you can't afford to normally. It's all good. You're using Kickstarter to help expand your business. Great idea. It's like, when a company that only does miniature games goes, we're going to make a role-playing game, we're going to Kickstarter it. Well, that makes sense. You're expanding out. You can't necessarily afford to have all that stuff, as part of your normal capital. It's hard to get the capital initially to just expand out like that.
Yep. Get it. I understand.
But they're literally making their wheelhouse, which is miniatures out of metal and resin and maybe a tiny bit of hard plastic here or there, probably not, considering they're not sure what the sales are going to be like. That's crazy. They're literally using it as a pre-order system, which makes them Cool Mini or not. And you know what I think of Cool Mini or not?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I just wish them well.
Absolutely, I wish them well. As we always say, more guys doing well is good for our hobby. I mean, honestly, we are in the golden age of miniature games. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Sure, some of the ones that we loved with all our heart aren't as big as they used to be, but the general quality level of miniature games across the board is very high. I mean, it's to the point where we can't do. I mean, no one can settle on just one game to play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many good ones out there. There's too many ones that have cool models and solid rules. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there are 3 games out there that are just out of the box, just pretty great to play. Like, literally, I grabbed the starter box, some extra models for me. My buddy grabs some extra models. We're going to have a hoot. And, I mean, having 3 games like that, none of them being from GW, by the way, because they're not great out the box. You need to buy a lot. But they still make fun stuff.
Yep.
And they're even they're all in on Necromunda. They keep putting stuff out. In fact, they're re-releasing some stuff in a different format, which is getting people a little upset because they don't want to buy books again. But it's going to get new people in, and that's always good.
Yep.
It's good for the longevity of a game. You know, and GW may scattershot stuff and just see what sticks. But if it sticks, they're going with it.
Yeah, and they just released a new Titanicus box.
Yep. That's going. I mean, that's though. To be fair, that's a game that's so expensive. I was like, I can't play that.
Yeah, no,
it's too much.
Yeah, I was hard out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to because I love that scale. You can do so many cool things at that scale, but
yeah.
So Dean Litch said he just bought his first 40K minis recently. He underestimated the quality differences. Yes, sir, you did. They are. I mean, they're not quite as good as they used to be. I mean, so the overall quality of the models look just absolutely fucking amazing. They're not quite as good in my opinion because they don't have the same versatility they used to have. Like when you buy a Space Marine kit and you like each model looks different in your 100 Space Marine army because they all have posability and you know convertibility easily, but they still put out some damn fine kits. And they just lean hard into aesthetic. When they make an aesthetic for an army, they lean hard into it.
Yep.
The new AdMech stuff, I don't know if you've seen it, John. They've got this sort of old school Leonardo da Vinci-esque sort of theme on it on some of the stuff.
I haven't seen that.
It's very weird, but it's very cool. They just leaned into it. There's a guy on Twitter who's like, I don't know if I like this new aesthetic. And then he saw all the rest of them. I was like, never mind. It's their new aesthetic. I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So yeah, so there's a little bit of negativity. Not really a fan of way PP's doing Warcaster. I cannot bring myself in any capacity to support the game because I don't want to support it on Kickstarter because I don't know what the quality is going to be. And I've been burned a couple times on Kickstarter. Not many. My track record is way, way, way in the positive. With the only negative being the aforementioned Robotech tactics, which will never give me anything, and that's fine. It's done and gone. I lost like $50.
Yep.
Whatever. And then Relic Knights 2.0, and those guys are still trying, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm in it for a little more money from them.
The only Kickstarter that ever really went sideways with me was Giga Robo.
Which is too bad because I really love the concept of Giga Robo.
Yeah, and then Monpok came out, and Monpok.
Yeah.
Monpok. Wow, that was weird. I got a little echo there. Monpok's enough Giga Robo for me. I canceled my pledge and they refunded me because it was actually I didn't kickstart that one. I pre-ordered it at an Adepticon. And they refunded my pre-order, which that was solid.
It happens. That way you don't end up with another one of those Ninja All-Stars.
Yeah, fuck that game. I never even unboxed it. I gave it away as a John Con prize.
That's one of those things. Sometimes you need to take away the keys to the internet when you're not in your A game.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. I'm very happy we still have 5 or 6 viewers.
And Nevindar's hanging in there, and it's got to be early for him.
It's stupid o'clock for him.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Evan Dar. You're one of the OGs.
Fuck yeah.
OBs, original brush heads? OBs. I'm going with
There
OBs.
you go. That works for me. Whoop, Jesus. Just
Sounds too close to me, which is obese. Yo.
2:48 in the morning. Good God, man.
Yikey yikes.
I mean, we're worth
You know
it
what I'm doing?
now, but
I mean, yeah. I've heard of 2:48 in the morning, but it's
yeah.
like, Bigfoot. I've heard of Bigfoot too.
Yeah. Not at age 51, I haven't heard of it. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
if I wake up that early, it's because I am sick or I have to use the restroom, and I don't really pay attention to the time then.
But we appreciate it. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Absolutely. Actually, I think we appreciate it more because we know how rare it is for us to get up at that time. Good Lord.
Yeah, no kidding.
I did stay up late once, because some guys in Australia used to do a Warhammer Fantasy Battle podcast. We're doing a live version of it, so I stayed up to watch their live, which was a horrible. I mean, it was good and it was fun, but it was a horrible mistake. But yeah, so we'll see what else comes out. We got Adepticon coming out. There'll be a lot of cool announcements there.
Yeah, I need to think about registering for the Keyforge event. I've got all these amber shards, and the only time you can really spend them is when you're at a Vault Tour event, and there's going to be one at Adepticon.
Well, there you go. Sounds like a good reason to go out just for a little bit.
Yeah, I get my clock cleaned.
Who cares?
Yeah.
That's part of the experience. I mean, I go to as many of the Transformer events as I can, and I don't exactly do great. I'm too busy having fun.
I super hate this model. I mean, you look at like that Archon that did.
He's looking really good with all this work you're doing on him, though. He's really looking good.
Thanks. Really fucking hate it though.
But that's what it is. This is how you push through, guys. Sometimes you got a model, but you want to complete it. That is good work for the soul.
Yeah.
I told a young lady on Twitter that she's like, I'm having trouble getting the yellow to work on this, thing I'm doing. I'm thinking about ditching it for a different color. I'm like, well, that's definitely a possibility, but also sometimes you need to push through those tough colors. That gives you experience, so next time you're ready to go. So I mean, there's two sides to all of that. Sometimes it's pain, but it might be worth it for your hobby experience, for your just leveling up, so to speak. We've all seen John level up a ton of times, so
I gotta get shag nasty with the base on this thing because I need something to pull the eye away from this paint job.
Oh, I actually think it looks good.
I appreciate it. The problem is, when you get it as close to it as I am, it's like, oh my god, it's like a fucking mess.
Remember, John, nothing holds up close unless you're like super expert painter.
Unless your name's Kathy, and then
Yeah, that's it. You can go to Decepticon. You can hang out at Fort Wapple for a little bit too.
Yeah, that's always a good time.
Yeah, hang out with her and her husband because her husband's also a very awesome dude.
High five the shit out of those two.
Her husband has recently been called the Bob Ross of miniature painting.
I would not argue with that.
I wouldn't either. I was like, yeah, that's fair.
He's got the temperament. He's got the hair, the beard. He's got it all.
So Plus, I really find, and not just blowing smoke, that the little details you're doing are really, really making that model pop.
Thanks, man. Kathy and Jim were like genetically engineered for each other.
Oh yeah, they're great. And I was surprised, just how in tune with each other Kathy and I are sometimes.
I'm glad that really worked out. I mean, I'm glad Kathy worked out as a sidekick for
when, she's great.
When Painting with Men Author John coughed a hairball and More Than Dice was born. Because Kath
it's all good.
Kath is awesome people.
Yeah. Make more progress than me. I'm just painting little bits on this base, trying to get it to more even.
I want to pound my balls with a hammer.
I suggest against that, respectfully.
Because this is tedious, and it's hurting my brain. All right, so we're gonna keep on doing this though, because fucker's got to get done.
That's right. Well, there's nothing like having a complete army. I don't know what that's like, but There's nothing like I mean, I've had some complete forces, and that's freaking great. So
Right now the only of my factions, I've got two factions that are complete. I got mercs that are done, and I've got and I have let's see what the fuck is the other one I was trolls. Trolls are done.
hey, yeah, I'm getting perilously close to halfway with the starter box of Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Good job, man.
Yeah, I'm pushing through, and I got at least one gang from Alpha painted. So DM Leach wants to know. He says he's been out for too long. Anything exciting going on with us two recently? So much stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I had pneumonia and it was bad. But you know that's I'm still traveling a lot. Next trip appears to be, which one is it going to be? Portugal, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun trip. Working with some good folks from another company, a partnership type of an arrangement. Those are always fun too. Man, I learned so much from some of the people we work with. They're just super sweet people from another. I'll tell you what, getting the opportunities I've had to work internationally have really broadened my horizons. And folks, if you ever get the opportunity to go overseas and meet people from other lands, it's just fantastic. Here in the United States, I think it's very easy to get enamored with, well, shit, we're the fucking United States, god damn it, But there's so much to experience out there, and to see different lands and how they do things, and look at it from the perspective of, maybe don't look at it from like, oh, well, we're doing the best or we're doing it the best. There's always a chance to learn and get better.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opportunity to learn culture through food, and to taste all the different cuisines that I've had the opportunity to. And Portugal's really beautiful, and Porto, which is where I'm going, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site on top of everything else, because that's where you build coffee plants, is in UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And yeah.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, right?
Oh heck yeah. So the nifty thing about where we're going is that in Porto, and I actually on my work computer over here, I have my wallpaper is Porto. Down right by the river, there's a bridge that was designed by I think is it George Eiffel, the guy that did the Eiffel Tower.
Oh shit, yeah.
And he did a bridge, and it's beautiful, and you can go down there, and along the river there are all the port wineries. So all the cellars and stuff, and you go down there, and they'll give you the sweet tour and give you the sweet hookups for the port. I'll come back with at least 2 bottles of port, because Tawny Port's amazing, and you can make a something called a port spritz, which is an Aperol spritz, in that it's got a wine, and which in this case is port wine, a white port, which is something you don't always see, and I think that one has club soda. Is it either club soda or it's tonic, and it's really delicious. It's really delicious. The two complement each other very, very well, and I'm going there with a really, really fun group of people from my company who are just I've been really, really lucky to work on some really fun projects over the last year, and it's been with primarily this gang of 3, myself included in that 3. It's been amazing. Spent a lot of time in Germany, spent a lot of time. Now we're going to be in port together, Portugal, I should say. Super fun. So still traveling quite a bit, not as much as I had been, but where I'm going, my trips these days have been just lots of fun, really good times with good people, and that's usually what is the hallmark of a fun trip, is when you get to have good, rewarding work with people you respect and that are fun people to be around. John, what about you? What's up with you?
I mean, nothing sounds as interesting after World Traveler
shit.
Menace, John.
I'm sorry. I don't mean
It's
it
all
like
right.
that.
No, it's. I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, I get a lot more games in than John
This
does.
is a true statement of fact that cannot be denied.
I've been enjoying Star Wars Legion and Malifaux with Not Brushhead Dave, who actually won his first game against me a week ago Friday.
Woohoo! That's good news.
Yeah. And then been enjoying, Marvel Crisis Protocol. We talked about that a little beforehand. 3 games in, really enjoying that. The hype for that game was well founded. It is a very, very solid game. There's a lot of stuff in it that you will recognize from other games. Um, I've been playing a little bit of everything. I mean, in the time you've been away, I've been playing. I mean, I played Age of Sigmar, 40K, a little bit of everything but War Machine, and that's not for lack of trying. Just lack of opponents left me leave it at home now. And then
Yeah.
John's been playing some Keyforge as a card game.
Yep.
I took a look at it. And it wasn't. It looks like a good game, but it wasn't what I was looking for because I
Fair
want
enough.
that sort of extra challenge of making a deck, that extra fun. So I've been playing the Transformers card game, which has been super fun.
Good. Yeah, you know, for me, it's just the opposite. I mean, I was looking for something that didn't have that, something I could just, grab a
Mm-hmm.
deck, throw down, and be done. I know some of the people that play Keyforge have just got, deck after deck, and they just analyze the hell out of it and all that kind of stuff. And that's awesome. I'm glad they've got that experience for themselves. Just not what I was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how that's what I like about where we're at with games, is something for what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then my role playing's been kind of hit or miss. We put Sewer Bear on hiatus because one of the guys wanted a break. We played some, was it Mediocre Trouble in the Big Easy, which is played with Feng Shui, the very rules light actiony game, which was super fun. And now we took a little hiatus for the holidays. We're probably coming back, and we might be coming back with the Sewer Bear.
Very nice.
So, I mean, it's all good. I mean, I'm loving life. I mean, I'm almost losing my childhood. You guys can't quite see the pile of Transformers behind me, but there's a fair amount of Transformers behind me from that. And John, I generally hate Funko Pops,
Yep. But I knew there was a but coming.
but they got Minsk and Boo,
Oh shit. Oh.
so I had to buy Minsk and Boo
Very nice.
because I mean I love Baldur's Gate. They're great. So there you go, Funko Pop. You got me for one.
I got one. It's it's Bob Ross over here.
I mean, that's another good one. That's what I like. There's 2 more that I would really like to get, but were Comic Con exclusives, so it ain't ever gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that is Vincent and Maximilian from the Black Hole.
Oh shit. Man, that'd have been sweet. I watched
Yeah.
The Black Hole the other day.
Yeah, I still like the movie. Yeah, it's scientifically accurate, not so much.
Yeah.
Occasionally a little slow at points, but I still love it.
Yep. No, I watched it. I thought it held up pretty decent actually.
The effects hold up really well, but little known fact, I like to tout this one every time we talk about it, is when they were making it, Disney tried to borrow ILM's camera for doing for filming over matte paintings,
Yeah.
and ILM said no, like you do to a competitor potentially.
Yeah.
So Disney made one and ended up being better.
There you go.
That's how innovation happens sometimes.
Yeah.
That's no for a good reason. It ends up innovating, and that's the part of the movie that always looks great is over those matte paintings and all. Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, John,
Yes.
since I don't think you're gonna be called away to rescue someone from a window, I think we can have an actual media section this time.
Dear God, that was so hilarious. She was so mad at me about talking about it on the show.
No, it's all right. I mean, stuff happens, life happens. Belle, come on, it ain't no worries.
Okay, so for those of you who are playing at home, we should probably give an update on the window rescue. It happened for a very good reason. Cat lives were on the line, and so when the cat needs help, you help the cat. And
Absolutely.
The cat was out on the roof, and she went out to help it because it couldn't figure out how to get back in the window. And so she went out there to help it, and the window in her bedroom is unnaturally small. And she got out there, and she was really in a very precarious position, and so she had to crawl out there, and she just the kind of the weight distribution was just off, so she couldn't get herself back in, and so that's where I had to come in there and kind of help her get back in from the window, and she's fine. She was chilly, but she was fine. It was not a warm day, not the day you'd pick to get stuck in a window. Not that you're going to pick a day to really get stuck in a window, but anyhow, is it about that time, John? Should we be talking about the media section?
It is exactly that time.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's get off this painting cam. God damn it! Wow, that went really, really fast.
Yeah, you know how it is when we start going.
I know. I was doing a lot of painting this time, which is something that doesn't always happen. And I'm going to continue to paint a little bit while we're doing some media section here.
Cool. I think even this week we have a movie in common.
And what is that, sir?
It's probably Machete.
Oh, Machete. Yeah, yep. I seen that one recently. I also saw Birds of Prey this week. So if you have any thoughts on Birds of Prey,
well, then shit, we have two movies in common.
There we go.
Oh,
which one do you want to lead? Which one do you want to lead with?
Let's leave it to what I've been saving for months, and that would be Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay, let's do it.
Since my current series I'm watching is Transformers.
Got it.
I believe my notes say, let me check here. Why do I do this to myself? So it is the second of Michael Bay's Transformer movies. It picks up kind of where the last one left off. There are lots of useless plot points like Sam going to college, which is just to meet some guy who's annoying, to have a stupid pot brownie joke with his mom, and to have a really creepy Transformer who looks like a girl who tries to flirt with him, and completely unnecessary for the plot as a whole.
That's terrific.
Aside from the fact that somehow, like, light flash, a little speck of the Allspark splashed through and into his eyes, and suddenly he knows all this stupid bullshit, which they don't really play on too much.
That's cool.
Yeah, not really. Early in the movie, I turned to Banyan, who watched it with me. I don't know why. And we're like, Megan Fox's character's story right now is the most interesting, which is her not able to go to college because she's working at a mechanic shop to help her recently out of prison father. I'm like, that's like legitimately a character background.
Yeah.
For Megan Fox.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really matter, aside from there's some, of course, manufactured tension between her and Sam because he won't say I love you, and that he misses their Skype date because he's at a party, and he makes poor life choices. He's a fucking terrible person. On the Transformers side, because there are Transformers in this movie too, they're fighting against all these Decepticons who keep popping up, and they're trying to keep it secret, which I don't know how you do when you have giant vehicles that turn into robots and cause mass destruction because it's Michael Bay. But they're trying to keep it secret, and somehow the world does not know that Transformers exist. There are rumors.
There are rumors, you say?
Yeah, so that's stupid. They have, of course, the government guy who doesn't like them and is an asshole, played by, I believe, the father from Alf.
Oh, there you go.
I don't care enough to look up his name. Sorry.
Who cares?
He's not a bad actor, but whatever. It does have the same other military guys there, Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson. Is that his name?
Sure,
whatever. That might actually be one of his characters' names. It might actually be one of his characters' names for Fast and Furious. Whatever. That guy. They're in it. They're okay. Like, honestly, the parts with the military in it tend to be very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kathy. Because Michael Bay loves that stuff, and the military loves that he paints them in a positive light.
Sure.
So that stuff always looks good. But God, this movie's fuck awful. All right, let's just get that out of there.
Sure.
It's not great in any way. The Decepticons come back. They manage to get the other part of the Allspark that's left over, resurrect Megatron because there's no other good villains in a Transformers verse, and they killed Megatron in the first one. And they realize they need Sam because he knows where some bullshit thing is. They end up in the Middle East, and because they find Jetfire, who's apparently a Decepticon turned Autobot, who turns into SR-71 but doesn't know what planet he's on because somehow you scan a jet so you can turn into it, but you don't know what fucking planet you're on. Sure, I'm sure that happened.
Yep.
Anyways,
Dear God.
at one point they find Sam's parents and have to kidnap them. That's important. But also the crazy Transformer who turns into a chick who tries to seduce him follows them, and they run away. Bumblebee's there, of course. And somehow Sam gets separated from the rest of them, and Optimus Prime has to save him. And in one of the two meaningful moments in this movie, Prime's there outnumbered by like 4-1 with Decepticons and fighting to save Sam alone, because there's no other Autobots around, of course.
Yep.
And it's cool. There'd be some meaning there. Like Michael Bay had, like, I want this meaningful scene. And you got a meaningful scene, but nothing leads up to it properly. Nothing leads away from it properly. Thus, you end up with what I like to call Zack Snyder disease. You make a moment, but it's not worth the rest of the movie. They get separated. Sam gets away and gets with his buddies. Optimus Prime is dead. They figure out there's a way to resurrect him, so they get the military to airdrop his corpse.
Airdrop his corpse, he said, huh?
Into the Middle East with their guys and fight the Decepticons. Somehow they get the Section 7 guy. I forget who plays him because I don't fucking care anymore. He's in all the movies. He's relatively funny, but he and then Sam's roommate from college are played too much for laughs. There's just not enough of the right humor. Anyways, they get there, they fight. The military scenes are good. There's one other good scene with Sam and his father where he's basically telling his father, you got to let me go. I got to go do this. I got to do this important thing, which is another great scene in a movie that doesn't deserve it. So they fight. Sam dies, but doesn't die because he meets the Primes who tell him he can, I don't care. He resurrects Optimus Prime. He whips Megatron's ass. The military helps him beat the rest of the Decepticons. Happy times.
Wow.
4.5 shots of Kraken.
Wow.
Don't watch this one.
No, I won't. Don't worry about it.
Really, it's not good. It at no point is it incompetent aside from the story, and I can't blame that all on Michael Bay. I'm sure he didn't write it, but at some point you have to look at the guy who wrote it, backhand his ass, and go, "Come on, is this what you're fucking giving me? I'm Michael Bay here."
So 4.5 shots of Kraken.
Yes. I'm looking forward to Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon, which I've seen once more recently than some of the rest, and I'm sure it's going to be great.
Sure, it's going to be great.
Spoiler, I don't think so.
No, probably not.
No, I'm actually really looking forward to the Mark Wahlberg ones because I think the quality gets up better then. I threw up my mouth a little bit, sorry.
you think it gets
Quick,
better.
Let's talk about something that's not that bad.
How about Birds of Prey?
Sure, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
That's my review. Not that bad.
So let me. I'm gonna put my brush down for this because I need to concentrate. I'm very frustrated. This is the movie that ended the entire DC universe for me. I'm gonna tell you why. I wanted Birds of Prey to be good. I really did, and it's not terrible. It's not. There are much worse things than Birds of Prey. I mean,
there's much worse things in the DC universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But here's what I did want. I wanted fun. Okay? I wanted fun from this movie. Just once, I want to roll into a DC movie and have fun. I had fun in Shazam. Hmm? Shazam was fun. I thoroughly expected that I was going to roll in and I was going to get, to a certain extent, DC Deadpool.
You've hit upon the number one problem with this movie, John.
It's not fun.
It's not Deadpool.
It's not Deadpool.
It's not Deadpool.
It's not Deadpool at all. It's
nope.
and it's not fun. It tries to have fun. Sometimes it decides, God damn it. There, now it's off. Where do I put my glasses? They're around here somewhere. Who gives a shit?
You need your glasses to find glasses.
Yeah, no kidding. So there are moments in this movie when it becomes fun for like a minute and a half. and I could watch Harley and the beautiful actress that plays her all day long, and she does a beautiful job with Harley Quinn. I think she does a great job with her. And just when it starts having fun, it grabs hold of the reins and yanks it back and say, "No, no, you are a DC movie, damn it. You are dark, and you will not have fun." And then the movie falls on its dick. The woman that plays Huntress in this is the same actress that played Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim. So I know she can act.
Yes, Marilyn. Yeah.
I know she can act because she did a nice job as Ramona Flowers. To say that her performance in this movie is tedious is an understatement. She has this really kind of neat background information where she's the only surviving daughter of this crime family who's wiped out by another crime family, and she's hell-bent on revenge. Cool. I can get behind that. This is a comic book movie. That kind of shit is what fuels comic books. But she's portrayed or acted or was scripted such that she's also this like socially awkward as hell person who, and she just, it's like she can't make eye contact with anybody. She can't carry on a conversation. She's just not good. And she's the best of the ones that are part of the Birds of Prey.
So it's funny, actually, I enjoy her more than you. I think that's actually the point of it, is that she was raised as an assassin. She doesn't have any of that. I liked most of the moments she was on, but it's fair. It's definitely one of those performances. And this whole movie is full of there's going to be people on either side of everything.
Yeah,
as most movies that are in the middle ground are. And I mean, even though I liked her better than you, I can't really argue with any point you have. She's definitely the best of the Birds of Prey. I think even though Margot Robbie does a great job as Harley Quinn, she has one problem that Deadpool doesn't have, is that often she's not fucking likable.
Yeah.
And you need the main protagonist to be likable, or at least I sympathize with where she is. And for some point you do, and some point she's really likable. But there's large swaths where you're like, yeah, you're just a bitch, and I hope someone punches you in the face.
Yeah.
And tonally, it's all over the place. You go from her breaking a guy's legs on a whim to non-lethally, and that's quotation marks, non-lethally, assaulting a police station.
Yeah.
I say quotations because I'm sorry that some of those guys died.
Yeah, they really got fucked
It's
up.
supposed to be. It just, apparently their language was too much for them to get PG, so they just made some of this stuff more R. It didn't need to be R. It could have been PG-13 without being too, tame.
Mm-hmm. There are other ways to get... Yeah. There are other ways to get Black Canary into the driver's seat of the bad guy's car than hop, skipping, and jumping on the guy's knees. Yeah, he was a dirtbag, whatever. Anyway, so the fact of the matter is, and then there's one other character that you're supposed to give a shit about in this movie, and it's this little girl. Fuck her. Fuck her. I wanted her to die most of the way through the show. And
you know what's worse? If you know the backstory of these characters, so Huntress is who Huntress should be. Her backstory is correct. She's pretty correct.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn's solid. Detective Montoya is solid. Black Canary, maybe not so much.
Okay.
Cassandra Cain is the daughter of two fucking assassins who are both super badass, and is raised to be an assassin, then kills somebody, realizes, I don't wish to do this, so runs away and becomes a superhero, and eventually becomes fucking Batgirl.
Yeah.
But
okay.
They gave us this for the same name.
Yeah, and there's no similarities whatsoever.
Not one. Oh, Asian descent similarity.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
I give this 2.5 shots of Kraken. It is an average action movie. The action is actually higher than average, but the rest of it drags it down.
Yeah, I'm giving it a full 3. I left it, and I I could give 3 fucks what the next Batman movie is going to be. Do not give a shit. The DC universe is dead to me. I'll go see Shazam 2. I will absolutely go see Shazam 2.
So, well, one other thing I want to throw in there is if you think you might like this movie, see it, because the reviews are everywhere. Like we have people saying it's the best DC movie, people saying it's the worst. It is neither of those, in my opinion. So if you think you might like it, see it.
Yeah.
And John, have you seen Aquaman?
I have.
Okay, that was fun. That is what I want the average DC movie to be.
Yeah. That was more. You're right. You know what? That was more fun.
It's a little crazy at points, but at no point was it offensive or bad. It was good, solid fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jason Momoa is awfully likable, and
yes.
I like the way he plays his character as the abandoned fisherman guy, and it's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was likable.
So, well, I'll be able to give you reviews of all of these movies. I am not out. So on the other side, remember, I actually like Suicide Squad, unlike most people.
I didn't have a
enjoyed
problem
it.
with it.
I do think the extended version is categorically better.
I like Suicide Squad better than this movie.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
so there you go. But yeah, this is not a feather in the cap of DC.
No, for sure.
And it's not because it's all women. I had no problem with that. I love strong female characters.
I
no
root for
point
movies
did I even
like
feel
that.
like it was weird that it was all women. I'm like, this is cool. This is what it should be. It's just not high enough quality.
Yeah, I root for movies with all female casts to kick ass and take names. I want them to do good. It's just I want them to be good.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Creekins, who is my official reviewer on that, to make sure I'm not off base on any little things, to see what she thinks of it, but she hasn't seen it yet, so.
Okay. Makes sense.
So, I guess we're on to Machete.
Machete is so much goddamn fun. Holy shit, this movie's fun.
I have reviewed it on Pain Without John in the past, and I totally agree with you. It is super fun, though I did notice one thing this time that made it a little less fun for me.
Uh-oh. Did we find something wrong in it? Or what'd you find?
It's not fault. It's not the movie's fault.
Okay.
It's a little too fucking topical.
Oh yeah, it's spot on.
From that could never happen to.
So,
that's
not
funny anymore.
I finished that thing up and I went, holy shit, that's the Trump playbook. Trump.
It is.
Trump watched Machete and built 2016 out of it.
It's terrible. I mean, I do still enjoy it. The whole exploitation vibe, 70s vibe it gives is great. Like, you cannot fault this movie because it hit the mark it was going for.
You damn Skippy.
It's just that if you watch it now,
it's
the things around those mark, which are not that movie's fault at all, because back when it came out, all that stuff was super far-fetched and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh shit.
Oh.
Not so far-fetched and stupid.
Exactly. It's like watching Idiocracy and wishing we had Camacho in the damn White House.
Yeah.
I'm painting a jewel on Marzipalami here.
Gotcha. So if you guys don't know what Machete is, it is literally sort of an exploitation film with Danny Trejo in the lead role as Machete, who, when possible, uses a machete.
Am I not wrong in saying that Machete came out of in one of the Grindhouse movies? It was in a trailer, and they made a whole movie out of it.
Yep, they made scenes so that would fit with what the trailer showed, which is why some of the stuff doesn't make sense.
That's fantastic.
But, to be honest, most movies that make sense, it's like, why are all the women treating him like he is? Oh, right, apparently he's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's...
And for all of his positive things, Danny Trejo is not Brad Pitt.
No, he's not a handsome man. He looks like he's been put away wet many times. But he's still a character and a half, and I love the daylights out of him.
Yes. I haven't seen the sequel. I kind of want to, maybe not want to. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet.
But it was enjoyable as heck. I think though next time I want good solid action from Robert Rodriguez, I'll just watch Desperado, which is a similar sort of style. Antonio Banderas is even more charismatic than Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah, he's badass.
For everything, Danny Trejo has a lot of charisma.
Mm-hmm. He does. He plays his part amazing.
Absolutely, he's nailing the head. I think most people play their part great. It's for what it is. It's enjoyable. It hits the mark perfectly.
Yep. I give it a solid shot of Kraken, just to give you a little bit of that social lubricant to get you in the right place for it.
Yep. It's hard to rate it any higher than that because it does, like I said, hit the mark and aim for. You can't fault a movie for politics moving, going, hey, we're here now. Like, oh shit.
God, it's not supposed to be like this.
It's not.
Cool. Well, John, it's 8:24. Are there any more movies we want to talk about, or should we wrap up the show?
No, I think we gave it a full movie section there.
This was a full episode, folks, of Painting with Ben with John. You know, folks, we oftentimes joke about, you will sell you the whole fucking podcast, but you're only going to need the edge. And or we'll sell you the whole paintbrush, but you're only going to need the tip. You see, that's kind of the equivalent.
Cool. We'll sell you all of you too, but you're only going to need the edge.
That's right. Oh, anyway, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cue the music here a little bit, because of how this fucking thing works. So I'm going to put this up here. We're going to get echo. If I put the music on, we're going to get a little bit of echo. So, folks, it's only the last couple of minutes you're going to get the echo, so just frickin' deal with it. So, on behalf, folks, we're going to be here next week. We're going to have a special guest in the studio. Belinda Librarian's niece is learning podcasting, and so she's going to come here to the broadcast studios here, and you'll see her pop her head in occasionally. She's not a painter. She's an awesome kid, though, and we're happy to have her down here in the basement. We're going to make her a Negroni and see how she goes with that, or a Spritz, perhaps. Oh, my God, the echo. I can't even. I know, it's like literally like episodes 50 through 90 of Painting with Menoth John had this much echo in it. Yeah, why she wants to learn pod thing. Thanks for all that. Because you got to start at basic level and see where all the technical snags are at. So, on behalf of the co-host with the mo-host, Mr. John Spencer, I'm Menoth John. We're going to be back here next week. Y'all have a good week and stay safe. Catch you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.